We are just 3 weeks from the end of the year, and it's time to focus on the outlook for 2022. A sneak peek at our upcoming webinar in this week's Fastest 4 Minutes in Finance. Well, hello again. I'm Scott Inman. We are gearing up for a new Gen Wealth Academy webinar coming in January. It's called Outlook 2022. It will include a comprehensive look at where the markets could be headed in the new year, as compiled by our friends at LPL Research. The team there has already released their presentation, and we are sifting through it to present to you next month. In the meantime, this week's Fastest 4 will serve as an appetizer of sorts. So to set the table, it's good to know where we've been. LPL Chief Market Strategist Ryan Detrick tells us the U.S. economy bounced back from its worst year since the Great Depression in 2020 to one of the best years of growth in nearly 40 years in 2021. Some of the drivers of that were record stimulus spending from the government, the success of COVID vaccinations, reopening of business across the country, and strong consumer demand. So what happens in 2022? Well, LPL believes the economy is moving into what they call mid-cycle. It's not new, and it's not yet old. Strategists are forecasting GDP growth somewhere between 4% and 4.5%. Last year, fiscal and monetary policies drove much of the economic growth, and research believes there will be a handoff in 2022 to consumers, productivity, small businesses, and capital investments. We'll get into how those factors might drive the economy forward in our webinar. Of course, if the economy provides good GDP growth in 2022, we'd expect the stock market to do pretty well too, and we are firm believers that corporate earnings are what drive the market in the long term. LPL Research is expecting more earnings growth in 2022. It would be hard to come close to the kind of year-over-year growth we saw in 2021, but LPL strategists believe earnings growth will propel the S&P 500 to be fairly valued at between 5,000 and 5,100 by the end of next year. Now, for comparison, it's trading at just shy of 4,700 as we record this video. So that would be somewhere between a 6 and 8% rate of return, not counting dividends. The research team does believe there are areas of the market that could outperform others, and we'll dive into that in next month's presentation as well. And finally, what about bonds? LPL Research is no different than most financial analysts who are taking their cues from the Federal Reserve and expecting interest rates to move higher. However, they believe the rise will be modest, and we are expecting inflation to continue to run higher than historical averages, but it should moderate compared to 2021. We will be joined on the Gen Wealth Academy Outlook 2022 webinar by Ryan Detrick. Look for that in early January. Thanks for watching.